right. Cool. All right, Joe. We're gonna start off with you. Um, Basically, Deshaun Watson is like probably gonna get traded. I mean, at this point, the Texans are looking for trade partners. Um, Deshaun Watson keeps sending out cryptic tweets. I mean, it just doesn't look like he's gonna play in Houston next year. It doesn't to me. I keep getting reports just saying that they haven't. I keep getting reports that's saying that Deshaun Watson hasn't talked. It just looks like he's gonna get traded. Like I don't think he plays in Houston next. It looks like it's boiling over to that James Harden where it's like, okay, we gotta get rid of him. Now the Vegas odds, I sent y'all. I'm gonna repeat them, Joe, and I want you. Where do you think he lands? You got the New York Jets at 2-1, Miami Dolphins at 3-1, Chicago Bears at 4-1, Denver Broncos at 5-1, Indianapolis Colts at 8-1, New England Patriots 8-1, Philadelphia 10-1, Carolina 12-1, Washington Football Team 12-1, Detroit Lions 12-1, Las Vegas Raiders 12-1. So Joe, where does Deshaun Watson go?
Like I mentioned a couple weeks ago, it's because Watson has a no trade clause. It's a mix of having the firepower to trade for him, but still have a decent team so that when Watson gets there, he doesn't want to veto it. He actually wants to play there. So I would put my money on the Dolphins because they got the one from the Texans, which is number 3 overall, and they got their 2, which is number 35 overall. The Dolphins, who are already a borderline playoff team because of their great defense, could trade 2 1s and 2 2s this year and Tua to get Watson and not really be out anything except for a normal 1 and a 2. So I think that puts them in a great position. They could even move some stuff next year if that's what Texans need, but I think they're in a great spot to get them. I think the Chicago Bears are interesting. They also have a really good defense. If Watson stays, Allen Robinson will stay, I'm sure. And that would be a crazy combination. It would be almost like having Hopkins and Watson. So, they'd be in a good spot. Denver, I'm cool on them getting Watson in the any trade value. They don't have bonus picks this year, so they'd have to sell the farm a little bit. They'd have to probably move 2 to 3 1s over the next, probably 3 1s over the next 3 years, and then 2 of their good players on rookie contracts. So it's probably a mix of Sutton, Fant, Bradley Chubb, and Jerry Jeudy. And then does Watson still want to go there? I don't know. I mean, maybe if they were to keep 2 of Sutton, Chubb, and Jeudy, or I'm sorry, Sutton, Fant, and Jeudy, he might want to go. But I think the Dolphins are probably the best bet, and where I put my money.
Okay. Let's see. Mo, who you got?
I would say Miami or San Fran. I think Miami or San Fran will be the 2 logical, I guess, as far as quarterbacks you can trade for and picks. Like Joe just said, you could trade some of your picks, and you could trade, and you do Tua. And you could do Tua with San Fran. You could do Garoppolo and some picks, because of course you want to trade Tua if you do Miami because you're not going to have Tua, not going to just sit there. Plus, Houston be smart and say, hey, we want to have a young quarterback we can work with who has NFL experience that we already can just grab day one. So I think those are 2 logical ones for me. I mean, I guess Las Vegas could be in play if you give up David Carr and some first-round picks. I think Miami and San Fran makes a lot of sense because if San Fran get healthy and they get Deshaun Watson, look out. They almost would be my almost clear-cut early favorite in the NFC.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. All right, Craig. Who you got? Where Deshaun gonna be at next year, man?
I agree with Mo. I was thinking Miami and San Francisco.
Mm-hmm.
I like San Francisco. Well, I don't like San Francisco, but I like their chances probably of getting
Yeah.
Deshaun. They got pieces that they can trade for him. They don't have a quarterback, obviously, and I mean he could desperately help their team, especially if they're healthy. They definitely would fall, probably to like the top 2 or 3 teams, and especially with all the older quarterbacks and not knowing what they're going to do, especially Drew Brees and Tom Brady said he's coming back, but you just never know. So I definitely think the 49ers they have a Super Bowl defense that they went to the Super Bowl 2 years ago. So they definitely have the pieces in place to make a run for Deshaun Watson. The Dolphins they could trade back the pick that they traded for Larry Tunsil, and I think it was Kenny Still. So they could take the number 3 pick and possibly get a quarterback, or they could possibly go for Tua. Although I'm hearing that they might not like Tua there for their team or something like that. So I don't know. But Tua will be a good building block, a good start, because that team is not going anywhere. So you could just build around Tua, or I guess if you get Zach Wilson, Justin Fields, maybe, even though I heard his stock is dropping, but that's just another piece that you get if you wanted to start over from scratch, or you just wanted to take a second-year quarterback into it and see what you can build from there. Also, back to the 49ers, they have Kyle Shanahan at coach, who's a really good coach, Super Bowl coach, can lead a team. So he's proven what he can do if he has everybody healthy and solid quarterback play, which he didn't get this year on either side. So I definitely think that even though I wouldn't want to see it from the NFC perspective, that 49ers could definitely get them. I wish the Panthers was further up, but they had the capital, but they just had to give up too many pieces. So
you would love that though. I was about to say I would love it, but I don't see. I mean, Washington football team is 12-1. I can see him going to Miami. Um, he would really fit with the Colts too, but they're not going to trade him to the Colts. Like
They're
they're
not trade every first round pick from now into eternity.
yeah, that's crazy. You know what I'm saying? So that's something Nick Wright said. Nick Wright was like, if you trade Deshaun Watson, I want your first rounder every year he's on the team. I was like, oh my gosh. He was like, he's worth it that much. I was like, that's like 7 first rounders, but that's a lot. All right, but I think San Francisco is very intriguing. They've been real quiet. Um, they'll have the money. I think Jimmy Garoppolo comes off the books. They can use him as a trade piece as well. He'll be with the GM's real familiar with him. I think the GM drafted him. Um, Houston could get the draft capital, um, but San Francisco would be very interesting if he landed there. I mean, he fits Kyle Shanahan's system perfectly. Um, but as far as, and he'll be in the NFC, and Houston doesn't really have to see him, something that they did to, Hopkins. Like, all right, good. We might have to play him once every couple years. But the Dolphins have a lot of capital. The only thing with the Jets are high up. Now the Jets have Sam Darnold and they have 2 first round picks. It's just their team is not good at all. Deshaun Watson would probably be in the same situation he would be in Houston. But
New York.
Yeah, I mean it's New York, but it's and they have a new coach. The thing is, he wanted that coach in Houston, so that could be a factor. But I don't see him. Maybe I'll be wrong. They would have to convince him to But I do. Miami's probably the best. I mean, man, Miami has all the tools. They have the draft picks, and think about it. Miami could trade the 2 first rounders, and it still be okay for future. Or they could trade the number 3 pick Tua, the second round, and a future first round pick, and still have a first round. Like they have that many picks that they're okay to, you know, send out. They can mortgage the farm. I guess the saying is. But Miami has a real good shot. Denver does too. And though Chicago's very interesting. I saw Chicago on the list. Um, they could have drafted him, which is so crazy. And now they have to you know, that'll be interesting. So it's going to be something to watch. It's going to be definitely interesting off season.